I'm sorry.
Summer day, some rails, I'm feeling.
Yo, what's up guys, it's the Full Metal Sorcerer, and today I wanted to make a different video where I wanted to just like talk a little bit about ways that Wizard101 can improve PvP. And yeah, I've spent about the last like half hour just putting down some ideas that I already had in my head. So if you guys would like to see this become like a series, I could definitely make that a thing. Now before I start, let me mention that Wiz is going to be having a summer update, obviously, like they do every year. But yeah, Test Realm should be coming soon. Actually, probably either this week or next week. So but yeah, I wanted to talk about maybe some things that they might do, but they probably won't. But just also just ideas that I had in general for how they can improve PvP. So once again, if you like this video and you would like me to make more just ways to improve Wizard101 videos, I could definitely do that. So let me go ahead and get started. So improving Wiz PvP, the first thing I wanted to talk about was how to fix, this is the biggest problem, well, besides critical, and that's coming, this is the biggest problem: who goes first. And this is just something that really a lot of people have quit for when it's not critical. It's this, because people just will go second, and me too, second like 20 times in a row, and it's absolutely insane. Their opponent will get a first round shadow pip and GG if they crit. So I came up with some ideas of how they could improve that. So I have two ideas for this one, and both of them are completely different. One idea that I had is whoever goes first, the opponent who's second doesn't get to cast a spell on that first round, and then the person that went first doesn't get to cast a spell in the second round. So this is how it works. If I go into the arena, and let's say I go first, my opponent is pretty much stunned. They don't get to choose a spell on that first round. Then after I choose my spell, if I get a shadow pip, I could hit them. So that would still be there. But after I choose my spell, then I am stunned on the next round following the first one, and the person who's second gets to choose a spell while I'm stunned. And then after that, the match will just be played out regularly. Everybody gets a turn. Now, why did I make it the person who goes second gets stunned as well? Well, that's because if it was not that way, if it was just the person who's first gets stunned the round after, it would then be really broken. Because here's what you could do: I could go first, my opponent could be second, I'm stunned after the first round, so I get to choose a spell, and then the person who's second is not stunned. So what he can do is feint me, because he knows I'm going to be stunned the next round, and then he can get a shad and FFA me, or weaver me, or he could just use a 4-pip spell, an 8-pip spell, or you know, he could do something like that. Or he could stun me again. So, you know, it's just a really, I think this would be an okay way to do it. But I do have other ways that it could be improved. And the other one was a gold toss. Now, in sports, there is the coin toss, mainly in American football. A coin toss to determine who gets the ball first. Now, basically, it's simple. In ways, we would do a coin toss with gold, and before we go to the arena, and whoever, like, it's heads or tails, it's just randomly generated. Now I guess that's kind of still the same thing, like it's still randomly generated, just like it's randomly generated for us to get whoever goes first, but at least this way we would get to choose heads or tails, and we couldn't really blame it on King Zhao much as we could blame it on just us having bad luck, or just us making the wrong choice. So a gold toss was the other way that I thought they could improve it. Now I wanted to talk about critical, and this was one that I put a lot of time into thinking about. But before I talk about how I think we could improve critical, let me talk about how what critical used to be, or at least what I think it used to be, because I can't even remember anymore. Because it's been, you know, just insane with the new updates that they've done. So critical used to work like this: you would have more crit than they have block, if you have more crit than they have block, you crit. And if they have more block than you have crit, they block. But or that's how it mostly used to be. But now it is pretty much a toss up, and critical rating doesn't even matter anymore because you can crit now with 250 crit. You know, pretty much almost the same as you could. Well, not almost the same, but you could go with 200 or 300 crit and not really worry about it because you could still crit. And block rating doesn't really matter anymore because you can get crit on with 600 block. And I understand what they were first going for, which was a system. I want to understand what they were first going for with this new update, which was going to be like a system where the amount of block that they have has nothing to do with the amount of crit that you have. But it just doesn't really make any sense. Now, how do I think that they can improve this? I have a few ideas. Well, two ideas. The first one is you have a critical rating. That rating determines the percentage at which you crit. Okay? Not at which you land, but just whether you're going to crit or not. So, if you have 500 crit, you're way more likely to crit than if you have 250 crit. However, that crit rating does not have anything to do with whether or not you will land. Now, once you crit, the determination of whether the person who blocks is based on how high their block is. If they have mass block, you will probably not crit through at all. But if they have low block, you still might not crit through because they still have a chance to block. But your critical rating should then matter. So, say I have 430 crit, and a person who has horrible blocks, such as 250 in this meta, now I have already crit. But will I land? If their block is already low and I have a higher rating, I should probably crit. It's a little confusing, but it makes a lot more sense. So that's one thing that I had as an idea that they could do. And the other one, I like this one actually, is your rating determines your crit, but the determination to land is based on an entirely new stat called luck. And the determination to block is based on a new stat called dodge. Now, luck is your chance to land, and it scales as low as shadow pit percentage, so from a scale of 1% to 6%, roughly. Now, 1 being the lowest and 6 being the highest, luck comes in our gear and can be a small pet talent as well. So it could be a new pet talent that we could get on pets, and it could be like maybe 2%, maybe 3% luck at the most. So if we have a lot of luck, our chances to land are higher. But then, how does our opponent have a fair chance to block? Well, that's where dodge comes in. Now, if you play Wizard101, you will know that there is an attribute called dodge. And dodge helps you avoid getting hit. Now, how would this work in Wiz? Basically, it would be almost the same, except it would help us avoid getting crit on. So if we have 6 dodge, we have a great chance to block. But if we have a low dodge, we would have to then rely on our base block rating. So let's say I have 4 dodge, and the person has 5 luck, and they also have well, their crit rating doesn't matter anymore. Their crit rating is just based on whether they'll crit or not. But my crit block rating, that still matters. But my dodge just helps improve the chances that I will actually, that will actually block. So let's say I have 4 dodge and they have 5 luck, and I have 380 block because I'm going with a crit based plan. If they have the crit, then that 4 dodge, that 4 dodge and that 5 luck and my base block is matched up, and it helps determine whether or not I will actually block just based on how well my stats are. So then it just comes down to whether or not I have good stats, not whether or not it's just the BS that KI made the crit system. There are other ways that this could be done. Maybe the crit rating does still matter, and it's just not only if you get a crit. So the crit rating and the luck would be also thrown up there. But I think that it would be much better if the crit rating is just like scrapped and just made as whether or not you will crit and not whether you'll land, and the new stat should just determine whether you'll land. And so that it wouldn't be broken, there could be a new stat that determines whether or not you'll have more chance to block. So that was it for critical. I know that was about 5 minutes for that, but that's one that I really wanted to talk about. Now, another way I think they should be improving the PvP is adding dispel blocks. And dispel spam, it's really annoying. No one really likes dispel spam. Some people argue for it, but let's be honest, the majority of us don't really like dispel spam. Now, we all use dispels because we need it. We need dispels. You know, that's just something that we need. But I think that there needs to be a way to sort of just like minimize the dispel spam. And I don't think it should be a trainable spell. So here's what I said it should be. Whenever somebody dispels, from now on, there should be a 1 block placed beside the dispel, similar to the 2 blocks that are placed after stuns. And why only 1? This would be because when dispelling, while dispelling is really annoying, it is still something that's a part of the game and can be a decent strategy when it's not spammed to death. So I think, you know, if I dispel somebody, they get a dispel block right next to that dispel. So I can't dispel them the round after, but I can dispel them if I remove that dispel block. So pretty much like stunning, but not with 2 blocks. So I think that is something that we really need, because the spell spam can be really annoying. And yeah, it's just something that I think they should add sometime in the game. Now this another one I had, another idea to improve I had, is really interesting, and it's dampen shadow. Now, I don't know if any of you guys really remember, but there used to be a spell in the game called dampen magic, and that would limit all of the wizards in the battle arena to just 3 pips. Now I think they made it no PvP after a while, but it then just like became a rare TC, and I don't even think you can get it anymore. It's retired. But that was that was an insane spell. I think they did the right thing by just killing that spell off. But this dampen shadow would be a spell that costs 2 shadow pips, and it limits all of the casters to either no shadow pips at all or 1 shadow pip. And in my opinion, it isn't as overpowered as the original dampen magic, because with 3 pips you can practically do nothing. But if you limit all the casters to 1 or no shadow pips, it's not like there aren't other spells that they can use to still play out the match. And this could really help with people who just find the new shadow spell thing to be too overpowered and annoying. So I think dampen shadow would be a nice spell to add. Probably can't train it. Maybe we'll make it like a TC or something. I don't know. Maybe you could buy it with arena tickets. I'm not sure, but definitely think there is a need for something like this. And finally, this one isn't really related to like actual PvP, but I think there need to be new arenas. And I had 3 ideas: the Sultan arena, the Polarian arena, and the Darkmoor arena, just because we need new arenas. Yeah, like it would be nice to add new ones. Yeah, so that's pretty much my ideas for improving PvP. Now, if you guys, like I said, if you liked this this video, and you would like me to, you would like to see me talk more just about ways that Wiz can improve, definitely leave a like and leave a comment. You can request some other things you would like me to talk about in the game, such as I don't know, improving I don't know, like improving mounts, improving pets, whatever you want me to talk about. I don't care. But yeah, also leave your own ideas for how PvP can be improved and what you think the new update will do, and you can also give your take on my new ideas. So I might make a follow-up video of this, and like for mainly for the critical thing, and just like show what it could look like, and yeah, stuff like that. I don't know. But thank you guys for watching, and peace out.